And we'll
As we're loading onto the Rift.
Yeah, we are loading on the Rift now. We are getting it set up, and we are just about good to go.
I love the draft from St. Ed's. I see some flaws, like there's not much AP damage, and the Camille, you sort of counterpicked yourself, but I like the Yone and the Sona Lux, so my eyes are on those, the bottom half for St. Edward's, to come out with something explosive that can really throw Miami off.
I think Yone is an insane champion right now as well.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little weird early, but once he gets 1.5 items, especially at 2, similar to Yasuo, you get your Zeal item and IE spike. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't think he spikes as hard as Yasuo does after his Zeal item completion. I think once he has Zeal item plus part of his Infinity Edge, the champion becomes insane. He's got a mini Z ulti. He's an assassin pretty much, and he is a very safe assassin. He will go back to his start location. Nothing can stop him. He can hard dive the Ashe, delete her, and then you suddenly can use Hex-Tech Ultimatum for maybe a guaranteed rocket kill. Okay. Or maybe you still use Hex-Tech Ultimatum on Camille for the Ashe, but you only deleted Soraka from the beginning of the fight from the get-go.
Yeah, good point. Somebody has to deal with Soraka at some point, and that might actually be the calling for Camille with that Hextech Ultimatum. But all in the same, if you deal with the Soraka early, your comp will then handily win long sustained skirmishes or anything that has to do with regenning with the Sona or abusing the Lux shield. If you take care of that Soraka at the beginning of the fight, it should end up going in your favor. And one last point. You don't have much magic damage, but if your Camille is online, the true damage will get through all 5 of these members, no problem.
Very true. We do see a similar start to last game, but looks like a full clear is not being opted into by Miami, going straight from buff to buff, actually. So we may see an early invade by the Elise, similar to what happened last game, but I do expect the HP to be much more... basically makes much more sense for the invade. I don't expect Elise to be uber chunked going into the jungle if an invade is to occur.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Elise, a champ that just needs to kill, buff up Romp, get the level 3, and in some cases maybe look for a dive on the Camille with the Renekton. Just because of the reliability of Renekton and the options that you have with Elise. And you're spot on with the invade here, so let's see how that shakes out.
Yep. They did get a ward on Nunu's Raptors, and they saw him cross. It got pinged out by Yone. She's still going through with the invade. Nunu did kite the red out pretty far. She looks like she may not be committing or potentially wrapping around the long way. And it appears that she's either doing the Raptor camp or taking some smalls away. It actually looks like a full take of the Raptor camp.
Yeah, I think she could take that Raptor camp with the Lilia push that she has there. So
absolutely.
A great way to utilize your pushing lane to get away with some counter jungle. And then revisiting top lane, I like this because if Renekton can stack a wave on Camille, they can just one-shot that champion. And they're aware Nunu is there on Krug, so possible 2v2 situation unfolding here. Nunu will be engaged on by the Mayamo Big D. Cocoon goes wide.
Yep. I don't expect anything to happen here. It's just stalling Nunu. Nunu is not really a champion if he can't power farm and get ganks off. He clears camps super quick, and then he just roams the map with his snowball. Right off the bat, he's going to get double scuttled, is my prediction here. He got one of his camps stolen away, and he has a terrible recall timing now as well. On top of that, just the way the lanes are set up for Miami, they have permanent priority in every single lane. Nunu can't go anywhere. So it's a really crappy situation to be in, but it's a good, a good recognition on Miami's side to be like, okay, hey, here's our lanes. This is what we can do. Let's shut down the Nunu. Let's be aggressive from the get-go. Let's start sweeper and let's invade topside right away. Mid, get a ward down. We do see a little bit of a skirmish here, bot side.
And the double scuttle is coming in. Elise is on it right now, and Nunu pinged that he was running straight to it. But as you see Elise cross the mid lane, you're aware that Nunu's going to have to contest that. And with his bot lane shoved in, it probably wouldn't go so well for him.
And that trade, that's why this matchup is miserable. The shield gets canceled out right away. he tries to E away to safety. It doesn't matter. Renekton can stick to her like glue with his E. And again, the built-in sustain means that even if the trade went a little even, it doesn't matter. He'll just heal back up. Yep, flash W. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how this matchup goes. I don't think Camille was the right pick. That said, maybe they can make something work. Maybe that was a fluke. We'll see. A pause does come in. We do not know the reason for the pause at this time, but if we get that information, we'll pass it along.
Yeah, and I have to agree, just the Camille matchup is really hard. You have Nunu that path towards you early, but then again, the Renekton has Elise, so you don't really get any relief there in your lane. You're just isolated against this Renekton, who, like you said, can cancel your passive shield with his empowered W. That's massive for the way the lane goes, because if you play a lot of Camille, you know you have to abuse that shield on cooldown to basically lane at all against another melee champion.
You're absolutely right. That is how she actually trades. That is her air quotes sustain.
Yeah.
It's not formal sustain, but that allows her to, instead of trading HP for a trade, she can trade the shield away.
Yeah.
It does. She doesn't lose really anything because it's going to come back for free.
Yeah.
It makes sense, and that's how the champion functions. If you can't utilize that part, nothing will happen. We do have a replay of the dive by Renekton. At this point, she's uber chunked. She should know that he has flash. All he has to do is build up Fury, and he will die.
Yeah,
looks like the pause did end here. I know it goes right back in.
Pause, unpause, repause. But yeah, we see the flash for Renekton W. How many times has that happened to you in top lane?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's happened to me, I don't know, 50 times.
And I permaban Renekton now. That's how many times it's happened.
I perma Jax right now. I'll leave Renekton up, and I just suffer the lane. Renekton.
It does turn out that mid lane is having connection issues. One of the mid laners, not clear which at the moment, but either way, that is why we are paused.
My perma and solo queue is Jax right now. Because my two champions are Wukong and Camille, and these both just get dumpstered by Jax.
The Jax Camille's matchup is pretty.
It's
pretty
free
bonkers.
win for Jax, because unlike Renekton, where Camille is actually a better champion at 6 items, you can't really say that about Jax.
Game get unpaused. Nunu's walking towards top side. We do see pings by Miami to go straight to Dragon. Either they read him perfectly, or they're going right on down. Yeah.
All right, so massive farm lead in the top lane. Renekton goes team mat. Oh.
You see it, the snowball does connect, and that means she dies. A cocoon, though, right back on to Geshik, and he dies as well. A trade. She's trying to make it too. Following up, there should be no cocoon up. He flashes anyways. He must have mistaken that for the cocoon.
Yeah, a bit of nerves on that flash. I agree with you. Definitely unnecessary. But we can take another look at that 2v2 play. Oh, it's doing the thing where it's going to reset and show us the beginning of the play in a second.
All right, so here we go. Flash in, the knockup misses, and it looks like she's going to get out, but the snowball does clip her, and she falls. But right as Geshik tries to walk out, he does get hit by the cocoon.
Yeah, so good aggression from the Nunu. Like you said, you got to get the snowballs in lane, get ganks down, but wonderful counter gank from Mayamo. Big D on this Elise, popping off with the AP.
And Dragon does fall. It is, I believe, an Ocean Dragon. Big trade by Renekton coming in. The matchup's doomed. It's very hard to execute, but when you know a matchup is doomed like that, you can never put yourself in a situation to take any sort of trade.
Yeah, so one thing the Camille player should know is if you hookshot onto Renekton, he might as well ult while you're in the air coming to him because you're dead.
Yeah, you can never. Another pause coming in. Apparently, there's a lot of connection issues going on. But yeah, I mean, the match was very hard. You can't ever E for any reason other than defensively. Yeah. And normally you may max E, you may max Q in Camille. In this matchup, you've got to put a few points in W. You've got to recognize how you're going to get through lane. You got to figure out, okay, why did I pick Camille here? If you pick Camille to win the lane, you made a mistake.
Yep.
If you pick Camille to side lane mid game, you made a mistake. The only thing that Camille's going to do better than Renekton for the majority of this game is team fight better. That is it. So if that's how you are going to win, you got to figure out how to set yourself up in the best position possible when the first team fight happens. So what does that mean, right? It means that you are as little behind as possible, so you have as much gold as
minimization.
You need. Yeah, exactly. You minimize your losses. It is a skill to win a losing lane. This matchup, you're supposed to be behind like 20 CS.
Mm-hmm.
If you come out of lane phase down 20 CS, you won the lane, in my opinion. That's expected.
Yep.
If you come out of lane with 2 deaths in a 40 CS deficit, well, you hard lost the lane.
Yeah, the lane looks hard lost, and it's really a shame. If I were the Camille, after first death, I see Renekton buys a Tiamat. That means he's going to auto-shove into me every wave, which means I will never get hard frozen on. So I get at least all my XP and about half the gold. The only thing I got to watch out for is an Elise dive, which will come. So I'm telling my Nunu every time Renekton's stacking against me, if he does that, he might just hard push, and which is fine. Then you ping pong the lane, and great. Like, you at least get some farm. But if Renekton is stacking against me, I just let Nunu know, hey, I might get dove, and that's all they can really do at that point. But yeah, as we are figuring out what our lag issues are, we have an early game that we can talk about. What do we see here from both sides?
So Chad is bringing up the executioners. This is something that I actually was about to talk about, and now that it's brought to our attention. So Alex says, I don't know top lane, but going executioners first when you're already so behind seems stupid. Well, yes, it is stupid. So something that Diddy brought up is when Renekton gets team out early and you're being perma-shoved on their tower, you can potentially get dove. I'll touch on that in a second. It looks like we may get some action here, maybe not.
Yeah, back to live, right?
Yeah, we are back to live. Looks like nothing did happen. But just to touch over that quickly, Camille should have went team out 2. You need to be able to deal with the wave quickly that's coming in, or else you're just going to get dove constantly, or your jungler's going to get invaded constantly, and they're going to fall behind too. And you don't want that. You don't want to hurt your team more than you already are by being behind. So you need to figure out a way to cancel out that shove, which again is a Tiamat. Executioners was not the answer.
Yep, I have to agree. Tiamat would have been the purchase here. Not only because you need to clear waves out while dive threats are coming, but because in the event that Renekton ever needs to TP away from lane or roam, you need to be able to push and reset as fast as possible. Camille, a champion that without Tiamat, her push is really awful, so Renekton could get a move off, and you might not even be able to crash your wave on his move, and he could come back to a freeze situation. But he has that Tiamat.
We do have 3.5 minutes till the next dragon. Herald has just spawned. Believe it or not, it's only 8 minutes in the game, despite the 2,000 gold deficit at the moment. Top lane is basically 2 plates. It does say 3 in the map, but that last bit is very thin. We do see some action. Ashe does opt to ulti here. They are committing onto the Sona. Barry does come in, stalling it out as long as possible. Flash forward by Ashe to try to follow it up, but the Lux Shield is insane. Oh, almost trades out the Ashe there.
And we see a trade of Ashe Flash and Soraka Barrier in exchange for all 4 sums for St. Edward. So it's actually a pretty nice trade from Miami, but we get to see how hard it is to kill the Sona Lux lane, even when it looks like they're dead. It's just like, it looks like they're dead for like 5 abilities.
Yeah.
And they never actually
see the Lux
die.
Shield come out. All right, it's going to fall off. All right, they're 1 hit. The Lux Shield comes back.
Yeah.
Never mind. We do see a dive on top side. Camille is already out of the fight, picked up by Mayama Big D. Nunu channels the ulti. It does not matter. Soraka ult in for good measure to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, so classic Renekton Elise, just absolute domination. You stack up a wave. As soon as that hits Camille's tower, you just Renekton Elise the lane. And while you have Nunu to cover, by no means does that mean you take the fight. You just like need to hold out on her tower, and I think that's your only option there, other than just completely sacking the Camille lane and hard camping maybe the flashless Ashe. Other than that, I see options running low out of St. Edwards.
Well, at this point, I do think it is bot lane's the answer. That's the only way you're going to get back in this game. That's the only way you're going to get back into this game. So they just had a big skirmish bot lane. They got a lot of sums down. If I'm Camille, I walk bot. I say screw top lane. I have the tools to make something happen with a huge gap close stun. Let's kill Soraka. I have executioners, even though I shouldn't have bought it. We can kill the rocket pretty easily. We do see the Yone ult come in. If he returns, she should die. Yep, he's got perma CC'd. It looks like a trade's coming by Allen Big D. He does get the W off the shield. Doesn't matter. The execute Q comes in from Elise, which is then traded by Sir Poppincock on the Nunu.
Yeah,
so,
but I really like that for St. Edward. 2 for 1.
Yeah, it was the first winning trade they've made, which is very good for them. I do want to see Camille rotate down, though, before it's a little too late on the summoner timings. Renekton has rotated mid. He is getting himself some plates. Camille is trying to shove in. Again, if she had Tiamat, she could have gotten this wave in already and been on the map. Bot side help her team.
Yeah, I see.
Arrow comes in from the Ash Silence right down on Sona, so she can't trade anything back. Doesn't even have a chance to ult and dies.
Yeah, Sona a bit lost there trying to crash that wave solo or something.
Yeah, it was absolutely solo, and I don't know if she was trying to pull a bluff, but they called her on it, and she paid the price.
Yeah, and I see your point with Camille, and we do see Callistus getting onto the map now, trying to use his probably a Hextech ultimatum here, coming in to help the Yone lock down
This
Lilia.
should be a pretty easy kill, unless Elise comes in, hits the cocoon, and blows up Yone. Nunu is trying to trade back, looking for the root on Elise to save his Camille's life, and this play looked pretty okay, and then it went downhill.
Yeah, the power of Elise counter gank.
Yeah, they had they actually didn't have any vision in that brush, so they had no idea that she was coming when she did. They do have a deep P forward, but it didn't really matter. TP comes in from Renekton, and Nunu dies.
Yep, so just answer after answer from Miami. It seems like every time St. Edwards makes a play, they overstep just one bit, and someone there is on the team in Miami. Noted, importantly, Elise, like when she shows up to play, she turns them at an instant.
A little bit of a solo play made by Lucent, trying to relive the glory days of last game. Doesn't quite pan out. Either way, it looks like a net nothing.
Blue team slain the dragon.
Yeah, and I think we do have some downtime, so we could take a look at this just really nice Elise counter gank. You see Camille wanting to get on the map with the Hextech ultimatum. It looks all fine and dandy, but then the cocoon WQ transformation execute damage.
You needed that Camille to hit. That play would have worked before Elise got there if the Camille to hit. Rely on your Yone to get the knock up to keep her in place, to give you the time to get the Hextech ultimatum off. Don't use E just to get in range. Camille is very valuable, and I would imagine he's probably putting a lot of points in it. A lot of people max it. We don't see abilities exactly at the moment, but either way, that ability is too important to miss.
Yep, not only do you get a bit of damage, oh yeah, that really nasty trade. But look, it's Bork. I mean, Bork on top of a team. That matchup is just unlaneable at this point. He would just get everything.
You have to give up towers. You have to give up the side lane. Say, you know what, I'm willing to trade tier 2. Big Lux ulti comes in. Can they get more here? They did get one kill. They find the Soraka.
Okay.
No blowout. I had to hold my breath there. I wasn't sure if Elise was going to one-shot. I was about the gas. Lilia does get out on the side. I wanted to see them immediately turn onto her rather than look for the mid tower. She does not have ultimate. She does not have flash, so she missteps here. She does die. Elise does find herself a kill in Sona. Starts pathing away. Renekton does come in with a flank. Finds the Oni, dies right away. Full channel Nunu ulti. Chunks some members, but it does not matter. There's too much damage, and he will fall.
Yeah, Miami ended up winning the play, but I see you, St. Edwards, as we can maybe take a look at this one more time. The huge Yone play. It gets set up by a binding.
Yep. Yeah, binding Lux ulti and 3 members into a 3-man Yone ulti. It looked really good. I think right here that you immediately rotate to Lilia if you can. He did get cocoon there.
Yeah, so possibly St. Edward looking for more than they should have looked for. You know, you get a nice play in mid. I think you take that, and while you're licking your wounds elsewhere on the map, trying to get your waves set, take that gold. You have the kills on the Yone now. Maybe They use that slowly, but oh man.
Deleted. Sona face checks the wrong brush. At this point in the game, the jungle isn't yours. You do have a Lux who can throw E's into the brush to scout things out.
Yeah, Sona looking for a ward there is like a zebra going for a drink of water, and then there's a gator there,
yeah,
and you
sitting
just
in the lagoon.
So poor Sona there.
They do have Ash Arrow available. They do not have Lilia's AoE sleep. I don't think they look to siege anymore. They are at 2 dragons. Next dragon's in 2 minutes. A Herald is on the table. They could utilize that to open up the base before dragon soul even drops. Now, we did see the pieces of St. Ed's comp, right?
Yeah.
The Lux combo, Yone combo. You chain those two ultimates together, and you can just straight up delete Miami's team.
It's Yone with 3 of the 5 kills, and it's a champion that Miami possibly doesn't have that much experience with, so can surprise you with some of his damage values and his combos. And can also skirmish relatively well with the safety of his E, a bit of an in and out, hit and run playstyle. Might be just what they need to get back in this game. But so you see PD completed. He needs to the entire team of St. Edwards needs to prioritize the Infinity Edge on Yon and look to turn the game with that item completion.
We do see an arrow come in. It does find Sona. I expect the silence to follow right up so she can't flash out. The root does connect. Huge heals coming in, though. Ended up being nothing. Cocoon does connect. I expect her to get deleted by Elise. Repels up into the air. Jumps onto Sona, or Lux, finds the Q chunk, but nothing else in terms of CC to follow up to find anything. Yone will have to travel back. He should die here.
Over the
flashes
wall,
the wall, full Nunu channel. It does not find anybody. Nothing else should come in here. A Hextech ultimatum is used, but there's no damage to follow up. There's no reason to cast that ability.
The Lilia's recalling in their base. Goes over the wall with no mana and just kind of just jumps around.
Well, she knows
there's no answer.
There's nothing they can do. She has the Tabby, right? As we mentioned, she's going to build Deadmans at some point if this game lasts long enough. She has all she needs with Rylai's for true damage. She doesn't care. She's got a Soraka supporting her on the back end. They are looking to end. They did call in the Herald. They did take up an inhib. They're looking for a second inhib. The Herald wasn't able to reach the Nexus towers. They are still looking, though. They are shoving in the waves. They have 25 seconds left on Camille. Renekton does have ulti. He can facilitate the dive here. He does one-shot the Sona. With Sona ulti off the table, this should be an easy end.
Yeah, I think
Miami.
Bit of
Yone does get some damage out. Ultimately, it does not matter. At least may have bitten off more than she can chew. Ash opted to recall. A little bit of a disconnect. She did have arrow.
Okay,
She has teleport. I did
now
not even register that.
But now the end looks a bit awkward.
It is a little awkward. She opted to TP in for potentially an item spike as well as full HP. She was chunked. They're still trying to make this work, but I do still believe that if they were going to end, it had to be right then.
Renekton TP possibly. Other than that, it just looks really awkward. A few members might go down.
They do have minions behind St. Ed's here. Renekton can TP in. It is being channeled. Yone does have ulti here. He looks to kill the Ashe. Ashe does fall. Renekton is left alone at the moment without ulti. Yone is all the damage they have. He does find the shutdown too. Again, Infinity Edge being super important for this game to have a chance of coming back. The fact that the 600 gold bounty does go to Yone is huge.
Yeah, and a bit of a weird, like, maybe rush to end. I think you get 2 inhibs, reset, play the map, and you can close out by the books there if you're Miami, but instead they opt into just dealing with champions right in front of them with 2 towers, meaning Renekton actually goes down, and yeah, they lose a few members, give some gold over to Yone, but if I'm being completely honest, it actually doesn't matter, and there was never one particular play there that, you know, was too horrible for Miami where they can't just regroup and go top.
Yeah, they can just run it back. I mean, they're still, it's looking very grim, but the sooner Yone does get items, the better. If they can, again, if they can find a 3-man plus Lux combo with Yone, they can delete Raka and Ashe. Potentially the Elise as well, although she does have a stopwatch available, so depending on if they can get that out, we'll decide. They are getting a ton of damage onto Lux. She tries to trade a kill before she dies, but only manages a half health to Raka. They are looking for more. Arrow does come out, finds Camille. She dies right away. Big Stone R comes out to deny, but it was too late. That needed to come in way sooner if you were looking to save your teammate. At this point, there's not much left for them to do. There is no damage, no CC on the end of St. Edward's. They're just going to die in their own fountain. And unfortunately, it does look like that is the end of today's best of 3 for St. Ed's. Very impressive performance by Miami. As expected, they are one of the best, if not the best team in the league at the moment. Anything less than this kind of performance wouldn't really make sense here. That said, I did see a lot of good things from St. Ed's in Game 1 and Game 2. In peace.